Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the interruption.
You're now tuned into the Humbly Arrogant podcast. It's the antagonist himself, Rock B. Wildin.
The bald-headed baddie, the K Vega.
And it's the Rebel RHOME. It feels so good to be back.
We back, episode 57. Hope everybody had a happy Mother's Day, all the Mother's Days, all the mothers out there, and everybody. Hope y'all mothers, my cast, mothers had a happy Mother's Day, and yeah, man. How was y'all? It was my mom's birthday too, so you know I got had to spend double the money.
I mean, did you have to spend double the money, or do you just get a better present and you knock both out?
Nah, she don't play that. She don't play that. Nah. But luckily for me, she don't really care for the Mother's Day thing. She hates like Mother's Day crowds. But her birthday, she don't play about her birthday at all. So we went to go see Doctor Strange. The movie was ass.
Really?
It was ass, bro. I'm worried about Marvel. I think they should really take a.
Because of one movie?
I think, all right, with the exception of Spider-Man, what else has been fire? I mean, since we getting into it.
Spider-Man was fire, though.
Yeah, that's it. Spider-Man. What else? They got a whole bunch of shit.
It was only, what?
Black Widow was dirt.
4 movies?
I'm about to say Black Widow came out.
That was kind of.
Oh, Black Widow was short. I ain't see Black Widow.
I didn't. Well, I mean, that's kind of the point, isn't
That's
it?
the point. Like, yo, like you get rid of Iron Man, you get rid of Captain America. We not really. You're playing with fire. Like they canceled.
I didn't see Winter Soldier until like later.
It don't matter. I mean, bro. I think they should really take a long.
Captain America's storyline.
Right. I think they should take a good long, hard look at Robert Downey Jr.'s contract and really consider maybe we should bring Sun back to life, because I don't like the way the direction of Marvel is going. If your pillar is going to be Doctor Strange, I'm scared. And they already canceled Black Panther. I think they pushed it back again. So it's not scheduled.
I think they had to push it back.
Yeah, I think they're not recasting the actor, and if they don't do that, based on this Doctor Strange movie, might be quiet for Marvel. But
well, they didn't recast the actor. I know because my friend works on set, and they're currently recording in Atlanta. So
are you allowed to say that?
I mean, they would have announced it. That's what they do with casting.
Yeah, they got they pushing Shorty to be Black Panther now.
Yeah,
I'm not jacking it. I'm not. There's no disrespect.
They said from jump that they weren't going to replace him and that they were just going to have a different Black Panther.
I'm not jacking that. I'm sorry.
I broke up with Marvel when they killed off Tony.
I think that I'm where you at.
Like Spider-Man and Iron Man are my 2 favorites. So, you know, I do still watch the Spider-Man movies, but it's really like a on my fucking time type of thing, because I don't feel like going to movie theater, and my family no longer plays for Disney Plus. So if anyone wants to, you know, shoot me a login, my DMs is open. But until then, like, I'll just see Spider-Man when I see Spider-Man. But as far as like everybody else in the Marvel universe, I couldn't really give a fuck less. So
yeah, I watched the Disney Plus series, the Captain America one. That was pretty good.
The series are usually
and the
good.
Winter Soldier, right?
Yeah, I like that one. That was cool. WandaVision was cool too, and Loki. I liked all of them. But going forward, I'm a little worried. Especially if we didn't have enough time with a Black superhero. So for you to take away the first male Black one that we had in a while, that's the lead character already, just because you scared of what the fans may think.
They are gonna have
my nigga, they replaced the Hulk 3 times. They replaced the Hulk.
If they're going to move the story along so that we go from a Black superhero to a female superhero who also happens to be a fucking genius and like a scientific mastermind, you really going to fucking complain about that on some like, oh, Black imagery? Fuck you.
In the comic book.
No, fuck you, because at the end of the day, you still have the fucking Green Lantern. So fuck you.
No, we don't. What Green Lantern?
Yes, the fuck you do.
Where? Who is that? Tyrese? They said Tyrese supposed to do it.
They're gonna cast it.
That was like 8 years ago.
Man, no, they did the original.
Yeah, they gotta cast it in this.
They did the original Green Lantern movie, and the reason why they use Ryan Reynolds or whatever that white boy's fucking name is because there's multiple Green fucking Lanterns. He was the one that fit the suit.
There's one problem, Kay. Green Lantern is trash. He's trash. This is the one that we don't give a fuck about Green Lantern, bro. Like,
ain't Green Lantern DC?
Yes.
Yeah, it's DC. Oh yeah.
We're talking about black superheroes.
Oh, black superheroes. Okay.
I guess I gotta rewatch Blade. Anyway, welcome to the Humbly Arrogant podcast where we talk about the
Miles
millennial.
Morales.
He's still a cartoon right now, but welcome to the Humbly Arrogant Welcome to the Humbly Arrogant podcast where we speak about the millennial dating experience. If this is your first time listening, thank you for listening. Shout out to everybody who likes, subscribe. Make sure you like and subscribe. Leave leave
reviews.
Leave reviews. We read all those and we give you shout outs as well. There was before we get into the show, there was a shift in the culture this week where 53-year-old 50 y'all kill me, yo. Was he 53 or 56-year-old? 56-year-old social media sensation, dating consultant, self-proclaimed image consultant, and dating, I guess, internet expert. Kevin Samuels has passed away. RIP to his family. I would just like to say, although I didn't agree with everything he said, I do think a lot of the comments that I was reading on social media was just out of this world, and I just realized, like, you know, we kind of sick in the head as people, like, and I think everybody don't deserve a platform. I saw one of the ones that stuck out to me. I saw a girl, right? We smoking on Kevin Samuels pack, and I just thought, like, for somebody who really stays in his own lane with as far as his like YouTube show, like I think people forget, like, they call his show. Like, he's not running around looking for people and shit like that. But the crazy thing about the internet that I noticed, the man dies, now all of a sudden, all the positive clips come out. And I was telling people this for a minute. I was like, yo, your man talks more positively than y'all think he does. But now, since he's dead, now we're going to take the time to appreciate and now put out all the positive clips of him talking positively. And then a lot of clips, if you watch his show, the son was speaking politely to people. It was only the ones where shit was getting out of pocket, where he really stepped out of character or whatnot. But I would like to say RIP to him. I learned a lot of stuff from him. I take what I want. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel the same way. You take what you want, you move it, and you apply it to how you want to apply it. But any thoughts on this before we move on?
I think he went out with a fucking bang.
Everybody said that. Yo, how many niggas could say that? Like, yo, I got some pussy, so I died.
He was high. He was in the rental. He was with the thick Lil Jon.
Allegedly. Shorty was bad too.
Like, how else would you want to go? You feel me? As a 56-year-old male, single, no, like,
divorced 2 times. He has kids. He does have a kid.
I'm not saying no kids. I'm just like, no, like, immediate dependence, like, as far as like in home, you know. But if you was like, yo, today's the day, how you want to go? Like,
you can't beat that. I mean, maybe a threesome, but yeah.
You know, like,
Rome, bro.
I was thinking more drugs. I was thinking more drugs, but that too, okay. Like, you know, like, other than that, like, absolutely rest in peace. And it doesn't surprise me, the reaction, because I feel like people are hurt. And they don't know how to cope. And I feel like that is what he was known for triggering. those hurt people that didn't know how to cope with the reality of their situation versus their expectations. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. People are hypocrites, and I just think it's funny that like people can be so hypocritical and not like recognize it so that they actively make decisions to like change their perception, right? Like if you can recognize your own hypocrisy, if you can realize like, oh wait, hold on, I'm talking about myself, then I feel like you would also be able to like be open-minded, you know what I mean, and less judgmental and more accepting of people in general. Because you talking about fucking Kevin Samuels pack, bitch, have you ever sold an eighth in your life? The fuck you talking about, packs? You don't know shit about that. You're a fucking civilian, okay? You're a fucking civilian. Shut the fuck up.
That's true.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's true.
That's number one. But then like you want to say all these things, but then it's, oh, you know, protect women and love Black men, and oh, mental health is so important and you never know what people are going through. And Rock, you know what I'm about to say. Is it Uchi Wally or is it one mic?
I love this quote.
Like I'm just
I love that quote.
You know, apart, and you know how I feel about the A word, A for accountability on this show. A big part of accountability, I feel like, is consistency, right? Being able to recognize consistency and looking for a consistency within yourself so that you can hold yourself accountable to your actions. And there's just so little of that actually upsets me more than anything else. And I feel like that was very highlighted in this man's passing. Absolutely. Like, if anything, I just feel like, who raised y'all? What happened to, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all? Like, we're literally talking about the loss of life here. You know what I mean? So whatever.
And real quick before Rome goes, I just want to say, and I actually did see like a lot of, I ain't gonna lie, like I didn't tune in real time when he was like alive watching, but after he passed, I did take the time to, you know, just scroll through his content on YouTube, and there was a lot of people calling back to say, yo, thank you for helping me change my life and helping me realize, you know, I needed some accountability for my own shit. But go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, just to reiterate what y'all both said, RIP to him. And yeah, the hypocrisy, like Kay hit it right on the head. You chastised him for the messages that he gave people, whether they were warranted or not. And then you turn around and you do the same thing. Right? So like, does that make you much better of a person? Like, what is your goal? Is your goal to be much better of a person, or try to be, in your mind, more toxic than he was? Hypocrisy is like the number one thing that, obviously, we're human. It's kind of a part of our DNA to be hypocrites, but I try to do my best to like not be that avid of a hypocrite. Like, yo, you know, people, mental health this, mental health that, but you on Twitter, you on social media tagging an athlete because he missed a layup or because he missed a jump shot. And you think that shit don't bother people? Like, they just fucking with Big Ben Simmons because he saying that he had mental health problems, his back was hurting, he didn't want to play. People tagging him, adding him on social media, like, but you a mental health warrior. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm not a mental health warrior, but I was definitely one of them niggas. I ain't gonna lie. But go ahead.
Well, then you're just a dickhead, not a hypocrite.
I accept it. For Ben Simmons, I accept it. There's two
that's
niggas I
okay.
accept it for: Ben Simmons and KD. But I'm an avid KD hater. I ain't gonna lie. But go ahead, continue.
No, that was it. It's
Accountability.
okay. To
I'm being accountable.
That's what I'm saying.
At least you honest in your hate.
And that's the point. That's the point.
At least you honest in your hate.
But I'm not. I don't wish he died or anything. Like
exactly.
I'm not gonna say no shit like that. But you know, I'm talking about his game. I'll talk about your game. I'm not gonna talk about you as a person. I don't know him as a person. I keep it basketball. Like, but I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, there's a lot of hypocrisy, man. I really was baffled at some of the shit I was reading, but you know, RP to that man. Nothing ever bothered him. Like he took all that shit in the chin. I hope one day to be that impactful in the game where I'm just a polarizing figure for being myself. And I think that's the one thing I appreciated the most about him. He was unapologetically himself. And as somebody who's trying to make it in this industry, a lot of people don't like that shit. They don't like it when you're yourself. They want you to be super media trained and da-da-da. But this is what I always say, Rome. I'm like, yo, there's plenty room for the bad guys. You have to have villains in your story. It just is what it is. It's a reason why we watch WWE and they're booing the good guy after a while. Hey, he's winning too much. We like the bad guy now. It just people. We don't appreciate people for being themselves and being good, honest people a lot of times. And you know, I wish I could say there's a solution for that, but
y'all nasty and hurt, and you need Jesus or whoever it is that you want to commune to. That's the moral of the story. Rest in peace to that man, and y'all have a lot of hate in your heart, and you need to heal.
Facts. All right, so I guess we'll start with the first segment. It's the beginning, my favorite segment, the beginner's therapy. And the beginner's therapy, we go around and we talk about something like we would talk about in therapy. It don't necessarily got to be that intense, but ours tend to be loaded. So I guess I'll go first. So I'm gonna surprise Room. I'm gonna take back what I said about Will Smith 2 episodes ago. Was it 2 episodes ago? I'm gonna take back what I said. So this Mother's Day, instead of going out for dinner, me and my mom decided to watch a movie. And she decided, she's like, let's watch King Richard. I hadn't seen it prior to any of the comments that I made. And I watched that movie. Excellent film. I thought it was an excellent film. And I think after watching that movie, and it was one particular scene, right? It was the scene where the drug dealer or the gangbangers was hitting on his daughter. He told him to get in the car, and then he went back and he, checked them pretty much, and they beat him up. And same shit happened again, and they beat him up again. But this time he went and got the gun. And he was going to do something that he was eventually going to regret and change the whole landscape of their family until, I guess, that was an act of God or whatever, karma, you want to call it, happens. And the gangbanger was killed by another gangbanger, right? And it made me think about where you're at mentally and what triggers you. And just watching that scene, I don't know the depth in which actors go to in order to like embrace these roles that they're given. But after watching that scene, there's no way anybody can tell me that doesn't trigger you in some kind of way in your own personal life. because me and my mom had a conversation after about something like that, where she forced me to go in the other direction. And I never forgave her for it because I felt like in the streets, I'm pussy. Like, you don't want to feel that way. Yeah, I want to feel like a man. She was doing the best she could. I didn't have no male figure in my life. And I was just like, damn, I snapped like that one time. And what if that, when he went up on that stage, I don't know what was going through his head, but when he went up there in that stage and that moment that paralleled with that King Richard scene, that paralleled with something in his own personal life, and then he just snapped. And I was wrong for what I was saying. I want to take back everything I said. I still fuck with Will. I don't have no problem with Will. But yeah, I would like to know more and educate myself more on what may have went to his head. And I'll just sit back and wait. But I didn't really say anything in regards to him hitting Chris Rock. I still agree with that. I just want to know the headspace, and I don't think he deserved everything he was getting. And I pray for that man to find peace. And if he's ready to talk or he's not ready to talk, I would love to listen. I said a lot, but
that was interesting. During that episode, we just found a lot of disagreements in the way you viewed him when it came to the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a lot of what it felt like you had disdain for. He was like, he never stood up or he never spoke out or whatever in regards to the Black community. So I don't really think you changed too much of your stance, your position. But I can appreciate you actually taking the time to watch that movie and actually seeing him tell a Black story and everything.
That was a Black role. You were right. That was a Black role.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes people take different roads in which they travel, especially in stardom, right? Like he's been a superstar since he was like 17.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably just naturally grew into, all right, let me just do these big major roles that they want to see, Black actors do rather than telling Black stories.
Mm-hmm.
And now that he's older and he's later in his life, he's able to pick and kind of do the roles that he wants to do. Like, all right, let me do something that's more of a passion project rather than the huge blockbuster Independence Day that was, right? So you got to allow space and grace for that because it's everybody's path was different.
Kevin Hart said a quote like that one time, and he said, "Let me win in the box office first, and then I'll start to appreciate and chase the craft and groom the craft later on." And that's what Steve Carell did. 40-year-old virgin, and now he's doing like serious acting roles, like Jim Carrey. A lot of people do that shit. So yeah.
That's one of my favorite artists, J. Cole, right? Like he talks about it all the time and on his album Born Sinner. Like I felt like I let Nas down, like chasing the singles and try to make sure I had radio hits when I really wanted to do and rap about the music that I was passionate about. So I commend you for actually changing your mind on that.
Nah, you know what? That was a great film, Rome, and it really made me think about my mortality and what kind of parent I want to be versus what kind of parent I think I need to be. And there's a lot of shit I didn't know about them. I didn't know a lot. I don't know how much is fiction and how much was real, but I learned a lot about them, and that was important for us. Like if you're a parent, I think you should watch that movie. You should watch that movie. But go ahead, Kay, you want to jump in?
I think that work translates, right? Like you said, things you get different types of triggers, right? So if you are accustomed to I'm trying to think how I want to say this. If you're accustomed to being expressive, right, and emoting in your job that you do every day, right, it doesn't surprise me that it translates to your everyday, right? The same way that, you know, hearing that the domestic violence the arrested reported domestic violence like highest percentages are in the NFL and the NBA, right? Why? Because they're both extremely physical with relatively low padding for how physical they are, right? In comparison, for example, to the NHL, right? Which is one of the lowest. I think that we condition ourselves to respond in certain ways. That's what forms habits, right? And not to say that like it's an excuse, but more so to say that it just takes that much more effort, maturity, skill to not fall into certain instincts, right? For example,
profound.
Huh?
I say, yeah, that's actually very profound. Like I didn't really correlate that in that way.
Yeah. So and then obviously hindsight being 2020, we've seen some of the punishments that Will's gotten. We've seen the BS and the commentary and etc. And I think that I think it's just like the Kevin Samuels case, man. I think that people forget their humanity. People forget their humanity. Like, I'm sure you've snapped before. One reason or another, one way or the other. Like, and yeah, understandable, you know, as a public figure, you take on certain amount of like responsibility, right? And a certain amount of accountability when it comes to being a role model and, you know, setting a good example, etc. But we're acting like Will is still making Men in Black. We're acting like Will is still the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like, he's not. He's a grown-ass man making movies for grown-ass people who live through real life shit. Like, I still don't understand why people were so pretentious. Like, whatever, man, get the fuck over it. Like, I don't think it's going to define him. I'm sure that at this point that, you know, again, with hindsight being 2020, we can all think of better ways to have handled it. Like, for example, someone pointed out to me that he would have gotten his point equally across if he had just stayed in his seat. If he had stayed where he was sitting and stood up and pointed at Chris and cursed live on TV one way or the other, if he had interrupted the Oscars verbally only, right, that it would have completely shifted the narrative. And he would have been viewed as either a victim or protector only, not also as a part of the problem. Then all eyes would have been on Chris Rock, like, yo, you fucking went too far, right? But again, can't go back in time, can't really change it. I just
let me run something by y'all real quick. I want to run something by y'all real quick, because did you see the movie?
I haven't seen it.
Watch when you get a chance, watch the movie. So Rome, like, all right, so The scene, remember
I've seen it.
Yeah, with the gangbanger, right? And he snapped because he said something about my daughter. Like, my daughter's 15. Fuck you talking about? You're gonna gang rape her. Like, and I'm talking to my mom, like, when I saw that scene, like, it was like, yo, I would have shot this nigga. Like, I don't give a fuck how many gangbangers was out there. I would have shot this nigga. And it was just like, yo, is it really? Because remember, he gave the speech about being a protector and stuff like that. And like, watching the scene, it made sense. Like, is it really that far off to like?
She actually died in Compton. Their oldest sister.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, she actually died in Compton.
Wow. So you think, like, I'm asking you, like, I literally want to know your opinion. Like, you think it was that far off between like acting out that scene, reliving a moment in your life that could trigger that moment? Because a lot of people talking about the slap and what happened and how Chris may have felt. But now I'm like, after he slapped him, did he feel better? Because if that's the case, it's worth it. It's worth it. If a nigga talked about, all right, so I'm relating it back to the scene. If a nigga talked about, we gonna gang rape your daughter, right? And I shot him, I'd have felt better. I mean, that's just me though. Like, you're not going to disrespect my kin.
I don't think it's a feeling of feeling better, right? Like,
I would have felt worse sitting there having to take that, and every time I come by, I see him.
That's ego.
You're right.
That's ego. That's ego. That's ego.
Yeah.
But you feeling better after you shoot somebody dead, that's not realistic. Like, you don't feel better. You might feel relief. Worse? You might feel relief. You might feel relief in the fact that you don't have to continuously defend your daughter every time you go to the tennis courts. You might feel that. I don't think you'll feel better.
It was a threat. He was threatening. It wasn't like,
right. So
it wasn't like, I'm just talking shit. Like, he was threatening this nigga. Like, it was. I don't know. I think this is one of them we'll never know type shits. But it's like, I often think about, like, you know, like cops that kill, you know, innocent black men or whatever, and how parents may have felt and shit like that. And I just would know how I felt. I'm not living with that for the rest of my life. I will hunt that cop down, and whatever happens to me happens. Like, that's how my mentality would be.
Yeah,
I can't live with that.
Feel better. You can't bring your child back.
You're right.
So it's not gonna make you feel better. It might give you some sort of relief, right? Some sort of release from the grief.
But it's not going to fix the problem, but it will soothe the symptoms.
There you go.
Okay.
Yep. That's
it. My fault. My beginner's therapy was.
What would y'all do without me? Like, honestly.
It was probably be more toxic.
But to piggyback off that, I'll go into my beginner's therapy. So this week shout out to the Joe Budden podcast. They had a real amazing episode, right? So this guy who I had no idea about, named John Bunn from Brooklyn.
Patreon episode?
It's a Patreon episode.
Okay.
He went to jail, wrongfully convicted of something at the age of 14. And all the people that I've met in my life that have been to prison, not saying that they glorify it or whatever the case is, he described it in a way that kind of gave me a deeper understanding of how people felt when they come home from prison, right? You always have this idea of people being institutionalized and you know, the perils and how tough you got to be in there. And he just gave you that real deep, honest, like expression of everything that he was going through in there. He was convicted of killing a correction officer. So he got the worst of the worst, right? It was like you get convicted of killing a correction officer, you go to jail, that's on your jacket. So now everybody trying to fuck you up. Like from the inmates to the staff. And his story just sounded so lonely. And it helped me kind of understand, some of the things that some people close to me have went through. And so I just want to commend him on like letting him share his story. His name is John Bunn from Brooklyn. Like it was great. Like it was real heartbreaking, but a story that needed to be told.
What I tell you, man, like there's a lot of filler with Joe and like how as far as like how people feel about him. And what I said, like, when y'all over it and y'all decide like y'all fucking with him again and you listen to the content, we'll be right back here. He does give like great content. I love his content, but I don't got too much to say about that. I would have to watch it. I don't know. You didn't really give so much of his story, but I'll watch it and come back and speak on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I'll never be watching ever. Because I've been there and I agree. And that's why I don't joke around with cops or about jail or none of that. None of that. Like, my mother called the cops on me when I was on pre-trial for a federal case. All right, no, I lied. My bad. I was on probation. I had already been sentenced. I was on probation. I wasn't on the ankle monitor anymore. And I will never forgive her. Ever. And I tried. I will never forgive her. But that's still my mother. But I don't play that shit because I don't care that it was for 3 days. I was in a federal prison. Hell no. Like I had to go into solitary confinement because I had acrylic on my nails. I had to cut the braids out of my hair because they were like, oh no, someone might try to strangle you with that. Like, that's not what people play around with. Like, you talk about being institutionalized, like, yeah, you're thinking about like, oh, shit that happens out on the yard or in the bunks or here or there. Being institutionalized is more mental than anything. I was on a GPS tracker ankle monitor for 8.5 months. 8.5 months. Got sentenced, got my ankle monitor removed, right? There was one day I was at home and I will never forget this day. I will never forget this day. I had been sentenced. I was at home. And when I tell you I was so hungry, I felt like I was going to throw up. Like starving, fucking hungry as shit. And my parents had left the crib to go grocery shopping. So there wasn't shit in the fucking crib. And I'm sitting there just like, fuck. Drinking water again so I don't get sick. And then out of nowhere, I remember I can leave. Like, I don't have anything on my ankle anymore. This was weeks after I had been sentenced. And I was still acting like I was on house arrest. Like I was still acting like I didn't have my freedom. And I had to actively remind myself, oh nah, bitch, McDonald's is open till midnight. Hurry up. Like you can get in your car and you can go. Like I said, I felt that way after fucking 3 days and in an actual prison and 8 months at home, which by the way is like a fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bedroom, 2.5 full bathroom, full basement on an 1.5 acre property fucking crib in the burbs. Granted, my parents were there and obviously my mother drives me crazy, but like I felt like that in that space. So I can only imagine what that conversation is like. And I'm good. But everybody else should go listen to it because bitches need to stop calling the cops on people.
Can I ask you a question? This is kind of like off topic, but it's a question in regards to your mom, right? You said something very I don't know. You said that you can't forgive her and that you'll never forgive her, right? Like never.
Never.
Do you think this can one day haunt you as far as, I don't know, let's say your relationships, like as far as like being able to look past something and like really finding forgiveness for it? Or does stuff tend to stay with you forever?
If anything, I feel like it's taught me how to set boundaries more than anything. You know, I look at it as crazy as it might seem, like as a positive thing. Like you can still have her in your life. You don't have to, because I like before I even got in trouble, right? I had to be going through shit to even get to a point where I got in trouble, right? And I completely stopped all communication with my family for 2.5 years. All communication. So if anything, me being able to say that like I will never forgive her, but still be able to have a conversation with her, I feel like is more of a good thing than anything, because now I'm not cutting off communication with my 3 siblings, right? With her 7 siblings, and therefore all of my cousins that come from those 7 siblings. Because what the fuck do I look like talking to my mother's sister when I'm not speaking to my mother? Right? So I don't know, Rock, you tell me. If your mother tried to push you down a flight of stairs and then when you pinned her to the ground because she was swinging on you, trying to punch and kick you, and then called the cops and said, my African-American felon daughter who's wearing plaid pants and a black long sleeve shirt just put her hands on me and I want her out of my house, would you ever forgive her?
I'm gonna stay out of this, but cause I no listen
nah,
on some dead serious shit, like cause like I listened to my mom's story with my grandmother, and you know we all have family. I'm pretty sure we all have like family shit that can define how we feel about our family going forward. And you know, I watched my mom. It wasn't a situation as far as putting hands on, but my grandmother making a decision that really altered the shape of our family, that caused me to not know my sister until I was 21, 22. So it's just like not being able to forgive. I totally get that. But I also think about, will this fuck with me in the long run?
Everything will. I mean, that's the truth, though. Everything will. Every decision you make, every decision you make
Like my grandmother is no longer here, and I still don't forgive her.
I didn't cry at my funeral. Like, I literally went to support my mother. I had no feeling one way or another about it. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I thought I question myself to this day. Like, is there something wrong with me? I can't. I don't know. That's a story for another day. I'll share this on a later episode because
I think it's fair to admit that, you know, we can't handle everything, right? That's right. Back to what we were just talking about, bringing it full circle, right? We all have triggers. We all have past experiences. We all have things that sometimes do and or don't define us. But at the end of the day, we're human and we can't handle everything.
Right.
That's why we snap.
It's just some shit that's unforgivable.
Yeah, we cannot handle everything. Not for as useful and as pro therapy as I am, for as much as I love this segment, just because like I like the fact that, you know, Black men communicating. Woo. Therapy don't fix everything.
You're right.
Because not everything can be fixed.
You're right.
And that's okay. Because sometimes just acknowledging and identifying it is enough. Because you're like, yo, you know what? This was a knee-jerk reaction. And now that I'm thinking about it, it's not the best reaction. But at the same time, I know where the reaction came from. So in the future, I can avoid it happening again because I'm not going to be able to stop the action itself. Right? And that's better than nothing.
My mom is Buddhist, right? And she said it took her 40 years to forgive my grandmother.
32 to forgive my mother. I'm here with you.
So I just, whew. So out of that 42, she forgive her and she tells me to forgive her. And I'm like, no. And it's just like, yeah. So I get where you get where you coming from. I was more so just questioning like, will this affect us in the long run?
Definitely. Yes. To answer your question, yes, it will.
Well, shit, that just, you know, these therapy sessions. You know what? It's okay. We gonna go over when it's just us three. We just gonna keep it to a minimum when we got guests. All right. So
that's fair.
Then I think it's your goal. You even
it's my turn. It's my turn.
Here we go.
So okay, my therapy session actually isn't. It's not that deep. It's not that heavy.
Bringing the room up.
Man, being a content creator is hard. Okay. Yes. And I just want to say sex work is work. And the shit is fucking exhausting. Okay. It is really fucking tiring. And I don't appreciate the fact that people don't acknowledge that.
Working is tiring, huh?
It's actually a very good cardio workout. Okay. Also, I have to edit mad pictures and footage. I put a little border around it. I have to watermark everything to make sure that my pussy don't end up somewhere else. And if it does end up somewhere else, it can at least be, you know, like good promo. So whatever, like the shit is exhausting. And then, you know what? Like the infrastructure doesn't even make it any better. No, you're laughing. That's exactly.
No, I'm not
let me
laughing
tell you why I'm
at
laughing.
you.
Let me tell you why I'm laughing.
Wait, hold on.
Let me tell you why I'm laughing.
No, let me finish.
All right, good.
This is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Absolutely.
Why does OnlyFans not have a fucking app? Why don't they have an app? Why does it take me an hour and a half to upload a 17-minute slow, you know? Why does it take that fucking long? That shit is exhausting. And I'm doing it when I come home from the club. So after I've been twerking in 8.5, 9-inch platform heels after my training session, because, you know, I'm trying to grow my butt instead of buy it. Now I'm trying to edit this fucking footage and these pictures and post it and all this extra shit. And your user face is fucking ugly. Fuck is wrong with you? Like, this is an industry just like any fucking other. And I need people to act correctly because it's pissing me the fuck off.
Okay.
All right. Now, why were you laughing?
Watermarking your pussy pic so that they know it's you is fucking hilarious. I just want to let you know that.
What? You are not going to steal this.
But what I want to say is, like, have some respect for the servers. Like, you're not the only one uploading content, bro. Like, the fucking whole world is trying to get rich on OnlyFans.
I didn't think
All
of
right.
that. I actually didn't think of that.
All right, but
like,
then
the fucking server is crowded, Kay.
Instagram,
you gotta
Twitter, Pornhub. What's up? Really? No, I don't want to hear it. I want an app.
You don't upload to Pornhub, so you don't know how long it takes to upload a video there.
I just want to say, like, so I have like a newfound respect for you since you like joined the show. Yeah, you was always my nigga, but I have a newfound respect for you. And I hate when you promo. Like, I don't be looking at your story like, I hate when you promo. Like, I know this K. Like, this is my K. So every time I'm laughing because every time you talk, I dead be forgetting you're in this industry. So it's like, it's 2 times I remember when you talk about it on the show, and when I come across you promoing in his story, and I'm like, dog, stop.
You want me to take you out, my close friends?
I didn't even know I was in it. I just stopped looking at your story, bro.
I'm about to say, yeah. I'm gonna say, let me make sure you don't got a green circle.
Yo, I just stopped, bro. I was like, yo, it don't even fucking matter. Unless you doing, wait. Don't take me out unless you have your friends, because you be having some girls in your shit sometimes.
I mean, are you in or are you out?
Fuck it, I'm out. Yeah, whatever. I'm out. That's cool. That's cool. All right, so that wraps up our beginner therapy session.
I was about to say,
where we at with it? I just want to. I'm chilling
so
today.
Let's get into the toxic tweets.
Okay.
And I picked this one because of R.I.P. Kevin Samuels. Just wanted to show him a little love. So this comes from at After March, baby. Oh, her name is April. Okay. That makes sense. And she said, a lot of women think they deserve a lot of women think they deserve a certain type of man, but in reality, they deserve what they've been getting. They just are in denial. Now, I like that. But the people under her was just like, don't make everything serious on Twitter. Right? Like, we talked about this already, right? Like,
yeah.
Kate talked about this already. Like, shit is jokes. And so somebody went under her talking about this new age thinking is harmful because it insinuates that folks need to be in abusive situations. They do not. Like,
I hate those people.
Wait, what? I'm sorry. How did you get abusive situation from getting what they deserve to getting what?
Like, what's up? What's up with
so is every bad relationship abusive? Because sometimes shit just don't work. Like,
but then somebody under her said, if you meet an abusive men back to back, you gotta do some soul searching.
Bingo.
Because, like, mind your business. Like, let the jokes fly on Twitter. Like, it's Twitter, bro. Like, let the jokes fly.
Yo, Twitter has honestly got so toxic to me. Like, I limit my time on there, and that I'm not saying much because I be on Shade Room all day. I ain't gonna lie. Half of the time I'm on Shade Room just to curate content for the show. So I tend to tune in, but I ain't gonna lie, that's always the first thing that pop up on my screen when I'm just like, I guess the algorithm is tailored to it. But I agree. I kind of agree with what Shorty's saying. Like, if was it a joke? She was saying it. It sounded pretty serious. Like,
but she put a little laughing emoji at the end. So
when I saw it, I was gonna tweet it and be like, "But when Kevin Samuels said this,
right?
But when Kevin Samuels said this, like,
one of my friends knows a girl who went and got her body done, right? And her sole purpose was to catch a nigga that she couldn't get without that body, right? So a nigga with money who would trick with her or shit like that, right? This nigga dogs her old fucking D. Like, not as far as like putting his hands on her or whatever. He like OD cheating, talks to her however the fuck he wants and shit like that. And it's just like, she deserves it. That's what you want. And she doesn't. And she puts up with it because she likes the lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I agree. Like,
you been crying a Honda or Maybach?
Yeah, that's how she treats that shit too. I guess that's why me and Kay always going back and forth because she's talking from a perspective I don't hear. So I hear more of those girls that I just described.
Understandable.
And you be talking about, I'm like, where are those niggas at? I don't see those niggas. But Kay has her own bag, so it's different. They have no bag. Their bag is his bag. So that changes how.
That's not even true though. Some of them have their own bag. They just don't want to spend their own money.
Well, remember what I said the other day on I said on Twitter, I was like, I never heard like a chick with an OnlyFans complain about being the primary breadwinner in a relationship or even like paying for shit. Like them girls be doing some dope shit. They be buying houses and Ferraris and all.
I'm a trick, but I was a trick before I got an OnlyFans. So like I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. Well, probably because you don't fuck with enough hoes.
Because you fuck with the condom more to keep telling me.
Right, exactly. You don't I don't know. You don't fuck enough hoes.
My son Rome got 2 kids. I'd be scared as fuck. Yo, my biggest fear is having a kid with somebody that I don't want to be with, bro. I will keep that shit on forever, bro. I will keep that shit on for you. I don't give a fuck. I got a tweet. Life. I got a tweet. I found a tweet by accident. I actually wanted to make this like a little bit of a discussion, but this comes from where I don't know if it's where JD. Anyway, she says, I honestly don't care about a nigga giving some dick away because it's just dick. Wash it off, get it checked out, and come home. But you like another bitch? You confiding in her and looking forward to talking to her and shit? Crying emoji. I was having I feel the same way, bro. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, right? And I was telling them how I don't think cheating will bother me anymore. I got cheated on twice in both of my relationships, right? And I said this on a previous podcast. So I was hurt. And when I was hurt, what I do? What do men do? Like we go out, we start whoring, and we start fucking with mad bitches, playing with their hearts and their emotions and playing them and shit like that. And then I got over that, right? And then I always tell the story of how I was the other man in a relationship. And I'm watching her play this nigga. And I was watching, I was like, hold on, I am him. Like, I was him. Like, so I just watched. I was like sitting on the couch watching her argue with her nigga one day, like on the phone and shit like that. And I was like, wow, I was really this nigga. So that made me think about shit. I was like, what the fuck am I really mad at? What was I really mad at? Was I mad at the fact that another nigga penetrated her? Or was I mad at the fact that she took the time to get to know the nigga? Because when I read the phone, like, fuck you mean, what's your favorite color? Why are you talking about dogs? Why are you talking about Yorkies and dogs and shit like that? Like,
you kikiing with this nigga?
Yeah, like,
here?
What do you mean you're going to get ice cream? Y'all talking about favorite ice creams? Like, fuck you talking about, bitch? Like,
I'm not gonna lie.
Yo.
So when I was in college and my college boyfriend was entertaining bitches because they were literally from out of town and out of state, so he literally couldn't fuck them. But I think the text that broke the camel's back was he was texting this bitch about all the shit that he would do for her if she came to visit him, right? Like, oh, I would pick you up from the airport and we would do this and we would do that and da 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 da. And I was that's what made it unforgivable, because my nigga, you live with me and you have a set of keys to my car. So what are you gonna go pick her up in?
You shit.
You fucking saw it. Like, you know what I mean? So like I
no,
feel
while you at work.
Ain't no work, bitch. This is college.
Yeah. It's college.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I thought you had a little part-time job or something. I don't know. Well, my class is in the daytime, yours at night.
Yo,
nah, nigga. I was just really like, what is yo broke ass gonna do for this bitch? Like, I know you not cheating for real, but at this point, I just feel disrespected. Like,
I ain't gonna lie.
At this point, it's just
like fucking.
At this point, it's just like you really out here entertaining it, bitches. Like, that's crazy.
Like, bitch, fuck you mean nigga taught you how to play spades. I don't know how to play spades. Nigga taught you how to play spades? I'll smack the shit out you. Like, yo. Oh my God. So I agree with that, bro. I really think I'm at a place now. That shit don't even bother me no more, bro. I think it's the plotting. Like, yo, you really taking time to get to know the nigga. I think that's what hits the ego more.
Let me ask you a question real quick. When you went through Shorty phone, you scrolled all the way down to the bottom? Because that's what it sounded like.
No. I didn't get halfway, yo, bro.
Oh, all right.
Nah. Yo, I didn't even like really go through the phone. All right, so the first time, like when Tiffany cheated on me, right? That was the love of my life, right? She cheated on me. This dumb broad wears glasses, right? So her phone, she's going through my phone. I gave her my phone. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't got nothing to hide, right? So she going through my phone when I went to go get a glass of water. Her phone was where I was sitting at. I literally just picked the phone up to move it to the side. She snatches it out my hand. This is on my birthday. I'm chilling with her on my birthday, bro. We had just came back from my birthday dinner. She's deleting shit. This is BlackBerry days. You only need one hand. She's deleting shit. Ball, delete, scrolling, right? But I'm reading the shit through her glasses. And I'm like, you dumb. Like, are you dumb? Like, I can see. Y'all know the story, man. I tell this all the time on Popular Opinion. Those episodes are still up. If you choose to still stream it. A lot of great content. But shameless plug. But yo, bro, shit don't hurt no more, bro. When it took me 1 year to get over her. A whole full 365. I didn't talk to no bitches, no nothing. I was in love. Wow. Second time it happened, I was like, whatever. But after I went on my whole spree again, and I had time to sit down and reflect, it made me do something I normally wouldn't do. And people might call me a simp for this. But I had to think about, damn, this happened to me 2 times, my nigga. What the fuck did I do? What am I doing wrong? And I was like, well, after really sitting there thinking about it, I was like, shit, like, I was a shitty ass boyfriend. Not to the first one. Second one, I was a shitty ass boyfriend. And she's really putting up with the shit I put her through as a result of what Tiffany did to me. And I ain't shit for that. And I deserve exactly what the fuck I got. And that's why I'm at the place where I'm at today. Accountability, man.
To say that you deserve to have your trust violated, I don't know if I agree with that, because she could have communicated, or she could have left. She didn't have to cry and stay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not. But I still appreciate you reflecting and seeing what you could have done better in that situation. So, you know,
it didn't have to get to that point if I took care of home.
It didn't.
That's how I look at it.
It didn't. Yeah, no. And again, understandable. That's why you get your accountability snaps. But by the time I'm like emotionally like and mentally capable of like separating the two, I feel like I'm gonna be in a place where like I'm so uninterested in other people that is going to be the reason why I don't forgive the cheating more so than like the act itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
It's just like, yo, it's not that you had sex with someone else, right? Because we could have done a hall pass situation, etc. Like, or we could have talked about it or whatever the case may be. But like, if you still trying to be outside, yo, go be outside over there, bro. Like, why are you dragging me into it? You feel me? Like,
it's just sex though. It really is just
right. So why you need it? So why you need it?
I don't know. I look back at my life a lot. Like, why did I feel the need to have sex with mad women? Why do I still feel that urge? I don't know why. I don't think people is meant to be with one person for their whole life. Rome has corrupted me.
And if that's how you feel, then you should be in relationships that reflect that, which means you would never be in this situation in the first place.
Yo, Rome is rubbing off on me because listen, I literally, yo, you laughing, bro, but I literally listen to you talk, and I don't know how often people
it makes
do this.
Sense.
I listen to the pod over, like I listen to our pods over.
That makes sense.
Trying to correct stuff we do and shit like that. And hearing this nigga talk sometimes, I see why bitches get mad at you when you talk. Is they not ready for that type of honesty. But
oh yeah,
they not ready for that type of honesty. But yo, Rome makes points. He makes valid points a lot. I don't know. I don't think it would bother me no more. But I'll know when I get there, right? I guess my definition of loyalty is different.
I know that I personally do not have the foundation of self-confidence to not be insecure in a situation like that.
And I respect that.
Like, I know myself well enough to know that if we not to say that, oh, I can't handle someone that I'm dating, like talking to other people, like, nah, but that's like that's the arrangement, right? If we're making a commitment, an active agreement that this is going to be a monogamous situation, I would rather you send me a text message to break up with me as you ring in the bitch's doorbell. Like,
have you ever been a side piece before? Like, willingly?
Yes. Yep.
That's amazing because the lessons I got from it, and for you to still say what you said, I don't know, it kind of doesn't register for me.
But I'm not gonna say because you're a woman you view it differently. I'm gonna say because her goal is monogamy, right? Like her goal.
Not necessarily. That's why I'm saying.
I'm confused.
No.
So now I'm confused.
So polyamory is
what I said was I do not have the foundation of self-confidence to deal with the insecurities that would come from you violating the terms of our relationship. So if you're cheating,
but that's what I'm saying.
No, listen. So if you're cheating, it means that we agreed to a monogamous relationship and you're violating that. If we agreed to a polyamorous relationship, then nigga, it's not cheating.
Right.
But, so what I'm saying is the only way I can get cheated on is if I'm in a monogamous relationship. So Agreed. If you cheat on me, it's going to be over, not because your dick went into someone or something else, right? It's because you violated the terms of the agreement that we made. And because I know myself well enough, I know that my insecurities are going to present in a way that I'm not going to be able to trust you with anything. And that's going to impact our overall relationship. Totally because you already violated.
I totally understand. What I was saying is, on a previous episode, you talked about you wanting a monogamous relationship. No,
it's an option.
What that's the goal for you. No,
a family is the goal. I think that monogamy is going to be I think that has the highest percentage chance of being the situation that works out, because I'm very specific in what I'm looking for and what I would need to be in a polyamorous relationship. I haven't found that yet. I found what I needed to be in a monogamous one before. I haven't found what I needed to be in a polyamorous relationship yet. So
could you be a sister wife?
Either.
Huh?
Could you be a sister wife?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would be open, but again, it would have to be the right situation. Like all of my needs would have to be met.
Right.
And
exactly. No sister wife to a nigga making less than $200K.
Where he has to be in the top 5%. Where that's
less than 200? Are you dumb?
He got to be in the top 5%.
Try less than 4. Thank you.
Shout out to Kevin Samuels.
Try less than 4. Like, what are you doing?
He got to be in the top 5%. Now, just remember, he's always got to be in the top 5%.
You know what? He can make 200, depending on what she makes.
He can make 200.
Depending on what she makes, we have to see how much she makes.
What if he make 100? He makes 200.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people make $200. No, not a lot of people make 200,000.
What if he make 100 and she make 300?
Oh, then it's lit.
That's crazy.
Anyway,
what? That's lit.
Shout out to Kevin Samuels, man. Yeah.
Listen, I don't really care who brings home the bacon. I'm just there frying it. I'm just there frying it. Like, I'm just there.
But what does the money have to do with you, though? Like
lifestyle.
Because exactly, it's a socioeconomic class.
What lifestyle do you want? I don't think I ever asked this.
The one that costs at least $400K, right?
But what is that? Like, she don't rock designer bags. This is my nigga.
How I was raised.
How was you raised?
I was raised
in an acre and a half of land.
I went to an all-girls Catholic school. I was able to compete internationally and nationally in fencing after doing 4 years of a traveling volleyball team.
You could do this with $100K.
Where?
So it sounds like what you want is for the child more than for yourself.
Yes, I know how I want to raise my family. I know what I want. In America, no,
with $100K.
No,
you can do this with $100K.
Yeah,
there's scholarships
you can't do that in New York with $100K. But
they
can be on a fencing scholarship or a volleyball scholarship. So what are we really talking?
And you think I wasn't? I was still one of 4.
How many do you want?
Living outside of your means is living outside of your means. And like I said, I know what type of socioeconomic bracket I'm aiming for. Like, I want to make sure that, like, hey, if my kid wants to go to private school, that's not a problem. Right? Because I did have a scholarship to go to private school, even with my parents making $400K a year combined. You feel me? Like, I still had a $20,000 a year scholarship to go to private school. What's that mean?
I'm a little confused. Did you have horses in your backyard?
No.
What was the, if with the scholarships they're not paying anything? So
that's still a partial scholarship.
Oh,
to go from not paying anything for public school to paying 10 grand a month, or not a month, 10 grand a year, that's still a 10 grand a year bill. Right? And it's not necessarily about like being able to afford things in the moment. Like, the way I think about family and family structures, because I see where my parents fucked up. Right? Like, I was supposed to have one sibling. I have 3. Okay?
Kept shooting for a boy?
Nah. My mom did in vitro. She ended up having twins.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. And then she got pregnant 3 months after giving birth to the twins.
That happens.
Because they were fucking while she was breastfeeding.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that happens.
So I see where my parents fucked up. The amount of money they made wasn't the problem. Living outside of their means was the problem. So, because I know how those problems impacted not only my day-to-day life, but my relationship with my siblings and my relationship with my parents, and therefore my future, these are issues that I don't want to project onto my kids. So I know how to make 400K work. I know how to make it work. I've seen it. I know what that can fucking get you. I know what it can fucking get you. I mean, inflation included. Like, gotta factor that shit in or whatever. But at the same time, like, I know
what you can do with the top 5%. Got it. Yeah.
All right, Kate, take us away on.
Yeah. This is the final segment.
Can we actually save it for next week? Because I was gonna go in on the abortion stuff, and that's like another heavy topic.
That's a whole episode.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, that's why I'm just like, no, we don't have to dick an audacity. I think these 2 segments are perfectly fine.
Yeah,
so we can like chop that out and work our way out, because that's like a whole.
Well, yeah, actually, I had fun on this episode. This was a great episode.
It was a long one.
Word. Shout out to y'all for tuning in. You can follow us on the Humbly Arrogant Show page. We got the videos popping up. We're back on YouTube. All episodes will be available on YouTube. Summer's coming. Cop some merch. You know what I'm saying? We trying to get back in the studio. This is a collective effort. You know what I'm saying? Buy some t-shirts, buy a hoodie, buy a hat.
We outside.
And again, you can follow the podcast page, Humbly Arrogant Show, exactly how it sounds. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, ROC, the letter B, Wylin, WYLIN.
And you can follow me at the K Vega, TheKayVega.
Follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well. That's the Rebel Rome, the Rebel RHOME. Please don't forget the H.
And we are going to, Humbly Arrogant is going to set up a TikTok page. We're going to figure out how we want to distribute the content that we have for y'all. Well, stay tuned for that. We're going to have a TikTok page. We're going to make Kay famous because, you know, she's a rebel. And I've been talking to her. Yo, Rome, I've been talking to her. I really think she could be a TikTok star, but I just don't think she's not going to believe me till she sees the numbers. Like, I told her to delete everything on her TikTok. If she talks how she talks on the show, she would have 1 million TikTok followers. I swear.
I mean, I talk the way I talk on the show on Twitter.
It's not the same. Like, when you speak on, like, people can share your shit everywhere on TikTok. I'm working on Kay, y'all. I'm working. We're gonna make her a TikTok star. I'm gonna be her manager. I swear you'll be lit. But yo, we may be the villains in your story, but we're the heroes in ours. Humbly Arrogant. We out.